Hello, everyone. Welcome to our third day of the 5 day challenge. And I'm excited to get this started. We've got a lot of cool things to talk about. Today is really themed towards marketing. And let me just go ahead and check my streaming here and make sure we have all the things in place. I'm going to go ahead and record. We are intentionally keeping the Zoom room closed, just FYI. So it's just really me in there, but we would love for you to watch this in the private Facebook group for the 5 day challenge. And if today's your first day, I want to just welcome you in. And let me double check here on our channels. Real quick, we're supposed to be live almost every channel actually, and yeah, looks like people are trickling in, and I'm paying attention to the Facebook page, the main Facebook page for High Level. If you don't mind, tell us what city you're checking in from. I'm in Houston, Texas. This week I'm traveling due to the Traffic and Conversions Conference, so please don't mind um, my choppiness on my connection. I'm on hotel Wi-Fi while we do this. Hey, Ryan Finn, it is a great day to dominate, my guy. Tell us what city you're checking in from. I'd love to just meet some of you in a few names that I've noticed I've met in person at our masterminds and conferences and a lot of the events that we go speak at. Let's see, we have Chris Darney in the house from LA, Ryan from Scottsdale, Erica. Hey, welcome, Erica from Chicago, Eric from Missouri, Jose from Miami. Let's see, we've got some folks in London, Ontario, Indy, Amarillo, Texas. Karen's from DeRider, Louisiana. We have Eduardo from Delaware, Fernando from Charlotte, Ruben from Seguin, Texas. Yeah, tell us what city you're checking in from. And one of the cool things about the 5 day challenge that I love, is it brings the community together. And you get to meet a ton of high levelers that are starting out in the journey of entrepreneurship, building out their, digital products, online marketing, or agencies or consultancy. And you see people in all walks of life. And the 5 day challenge really brings a close knit group of people together. And we've actually seen a couple of the cities across the board in the US come up, really have pop up lunches and dinners. So, yeah, if you're in the official community, you definitely want to do an intro and tell people where you're checking in from. I promise you. I think recently there was a pop-up in Boston, Tampa Bay, San Fran, all these cities across the US, even in Canada. We're seeing high-level pop-up groups pop out, and it's really cool because it was all unintentional. We never asked anybody to launch one of those things. And even Europe, in South Africa, Australia, a lot of cool things are happening around the world of high level. So, without any further ado, let's get started. So, I am actually with my phone. I'm actually fielding some of the comments that I'm getting in the main public Facebook page. If you're watching in the 5 day challenge Facebook group, give me a one in the chat. Same thing with the official community, the SaaSpreneur group. If you're watching it on Instagram, just FYI, whenever I share my slides on Instagram, based on the way the layout is, it kind of cuts off. But so feel free to jump into our Facebook page and watch as well. I believe we're also live in our Job Network Facebook group, as well as Twitter and LinkedIn. I believe TikTok as well, if I'm not mistaken. But all to just welcome all of you. We're excited to get started with day three of the 5 day challenge. Give me a one in the chat if you have came to the first 2 days and you've kind of followed along and you're kind of getting the gist of everything, but maybe you need some clarity, and I'm excited to provide that clarity to you. But give me a one in the chat if you have watched the first 2 days of the 5 day challenge, or maybe even another cohort. We like to do these quite often, and we launched this as a beta a couple of months ago. And our goal for the 5 day challenge is very simple. is to get you your first paying customer. How many times can you sign up for a random software company and learn how to get a paying customer for your business, right? Because we care about you as our primary, objective as customers. And if you don't know about a few things about High Level, we are agency owners ourselves. We're marketers ourselves, so we understand marketing very well. And software is it happened to be one of the things that we ended up building out based on the needs of the industry. Let's see. Okay, I'm seeing a ton of ones in here of folks that have been following along since Monday. Okay, cool. Give me a two in the chat if today is the first time you even came across the 5 day challenge and you're just following along for the first time. Okay, give me a two in the chat if today's your first day and maybe you didn't get a chance to watch any of the replays and you would love maybe a recap. Okay, you got Vernon, who else? Erica. Okay, I see a few people in here that are saying, "Hey, Paulson, this is my first time watching this." So here's what I'll tell you. The format of the 5 day challenge is very simple. I wanted to just front load all the strategies and information to you so you can get going. You don't have to sit through all 5 days. So on Monday, I went through and taught day 1 through 5 content. So every single day we have a specific theme that we typically follow. Day 1 is usually around offers. Day 2 is the technology. Day 3 is marketing, which is today. Day 4 is sales, and day 5 is client fulfillment. On Monday, I front loaded all 5 days worth of content. So you don't have to wait till Friday to get started. And that was my intention. And then what I did Tuesday through Friday, the remaining days, including today, is do a dedicated Q&A that is basically themed around those topics. So yesterday we talked about the technology, how to access the course, the online course around the 5 day challenge. We went and reviewed a lot of the collaterals, made sure you have access to the Facebook group and things like that. And today we'll talk about the marketing and how to position yourself with the right offers and things like that. Tomorrow we'll talk a little bit more about sales, and Friday we'll talk about client fulfillment. So if you are ready for me to go ahead and give you a recap of what we've covered so far in the last 2 days, um, give me a three in the chat if you would go if you're ready for me to go ahead and just do a recap. Okay, awesome. I see a few threes coming in. I love interaction, so I don't have to feel like I'm just on a Zoom by myself talking to myself. So I appreciate the engagement, interaction, all of that. And I'm a little under the weather as we're traveling for traffic conversions conference, all the jet lag and time zone changes. Hopefully, my voice is not too annoying for you. And let's get started here. Let me go ahead and share my slide so we can keep our conversations a bit more organized. Let's see here. And by the way, I recommend you watching Monday's replay. So go through Monday's content and make sure you watch it. Because right now I'm just going to do a brief overview, brief recap. So you're not going to get all the nuggets out of it, but it'll just remind you of all the main points that make sense for us to get started. So welcome to the 5 day challenge, day 3 Q&A. And our main theme of Q&A today is around marketing. Any questions you have around marketing, I want you to put that down in the comments. And if you have questions outside of marketing, feel free to put that down as well. And if I get time to go through it, I'll get to the bottom of that. And these calls today, this call today, I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible without, elongating it too long. So real quick, just in case, if you didn't know, if you're watching this 5 day challenge as part of our launch of the challenge, this is the first time, by the way, we launched this to the public as of this week. Um, just real context, just real quick, rough notes, context to the 5 day challenge. We launched this as a beta, I would say 3-4 months ago. And we love launching betas, and we call it the skateboard model. where before we build a car, we start with the skateboard, then a bicycle, and then a little golf cart and moving on. And that's kind of where 5 Day Challenge is today. 3 months ago, 4 months ago now, we launched it, and I believe about 15,000 business owners went through it. And nearly 38 or 40% of folks that go through the challenge, believe it or not, and that do the work, they get their first paying customer. So our goal for you is getting you a first paying customer. I'm not trying to help you build out a massive sales system and marketing and all these different things. I just want to get you to a world of revenue. And, you know, what I love about High Level and the communities we have here is it's a safe place to speak the truth of marketing. And recently, I was watching the Cat Williams podcast and Shay Shay podcast. And what I loved about that was there's a place of truth. And in entrepreneurship, there's not a lot of place of truth. And I want High Level to be that world for you. Come into the family of High Level if you are on the outskirts of it. Jump into a trial. I have a link here that we have special for the 5 day challenge, and this will expire as soon as I'm done, just FYI, with the 5 day challenge this week. So make sure you take advantage of it. Instead of our normal 14-day trial, you can jump into a 30-day trial to any plan. Okay. And if you want help just getting set up and maybe even talk to a person, a live agent, and I promise you, it's not a bunch of AI logos that you're going to be talking to. They're going to be real people in our company that you can talk to at speakwith.us/success. And when you go to that link, you'll get queued up based on who you are, where you are in your journey, and you'll get directed to the right team members so they can help you kind of set up and kind of help you get launched. So yeah, jump into the 30-day trial. There's a ton of collaterals that you get, snapshots, agency snapshots for yourself as a business owner. You get the client fulfillment snapshot, paid ads templates, social media templates, workbooks. I mean, all of that is it's inside the 5 day challenge course. So when you log into our university, you'll be able to download all of that. And then in the private Facebook group, you get access to the Facebook group for, I believe, yeah, here are the list of items you get, funnels and all kinds of cool stuff. So take a look at it. And just FYI, let's see. Yeah, the private Facebook group, you'll get 30 days access to it. And then after that, you'll get moved to our official community. If you ever wanted an extension because you didn't get a chance to go through the challenge yet, you can just put a comment down in the discussion, and one of our community managers will reach out and make sure to extend your access just in case. But let's get started with day 3, which is around marketing. So just to recap real quick, let me talk about the business model first. Okay, I'm going to really review the offer so you understand the positioning of the offers that we want you to use to go to market. And after that, I'll talk a little bit about the rules that I've created in order for you to be successful. And just so you know, maybe if this is your first time ever watching me or even getting to know me, I am a previous agency owner myself. I built 3 agencies, essentially the 2 by myself and the third one with High Level, which you see as Marketplace. And got a lot of experiences in building agencies to 7+ figures and hundreds and hundreds of clients. And I'll tell you this, this world of marketing is very difficult. Entrepreneurship is very difficult. And, you know, it's a lonely journey. And I don't know why that is. I think entrepreneurs change in general as they learn more information in that journey. And it becomes really difficult to relate to other people. And if you feel like that, give me a 1 in the chat. Like you're like, man, I go to dinners and hang out with my old friends, and I can't really relate to too many people because I'm in a different world, right? Give me a 1 in the chat if that's you, because I relate to you if you're an entrepreneur like that. And what I wish I got back then was instructions and guidelines of how to go to market. And the first couple of years were I was struggling, just trying to get clients, and then the latter couple of years before I dissolved my agency, it was all based on entrepreneurship and mentorship. I got the right mentors around me, went through tons of courses, um, and learned and networked and learned from other people's mistakes. So what I want you to really get out of the 5 day challenge is your ability to avoid mistakes and as you launch this whole thing. And I'm going to give you practical ideas of how to actually launch. So let's go through the actual positioning of the offer. Um, the real strategy that I want you to all use is the Trojan horse method of going into a business with one specific offer and then expanding from there. The number one mistake, just to recap, that I've seen most SaaSpreneurs, entrepreneurs in any business is they lead with multiple offers. They fall into trap of the BS of like bronze, silver, and gold, or small, medium, and large, and they think having a small to big offer stack makes sense. But in reality, all you need is the right offer, one right offer to the market. And what I want to do is help you understand some of the offers that make sense. So we have the gateway offer, which if for the 5 day challenge for this cohort is missed call text back. What exactly is missed call text back? In simple terms, it's a feature inside High Level that you can turn on to help local businesses field missed calls. That's simple. Now you could turn that on, customize messages, emails, text messages, voice drops of how you respond to their customers. And you can charge a low ticket price for it. The low ticket price that I recommend is $297 per month per location, recurring. And we want to go down the lane of subscriptions, right? As the famous words of a really prominent marketer that I don't want to name, you probably know him. Um, all roads in marketing leads to subscriptions. And if you look at even like a car manufacturers, good Lord, they're wanting to charge you, $30 a month for some heated seats. And I'm like, what are they fulfilling after I pay for the first month on heated seats? But if you look at the Netflix model, the reality of business is going to the SaaS model is probably the most healthiest option a business can have. Now, it's not easy to get there as an agency or a marketer or some sort of a consulting provider, because now you have to switch from being a service provider into a product creator, right? And High Level helps you transition really well. Actually, I don't think there's any other systems on the planet today that is a marketing operating system that allows you to take their features, rebrand it, go to market, create subscription, and let you keep 100% of the revenue. That's why people get excited about High Level, and I'm excited about the journey that we're all about to embark in. So, gateway offer, missed call text back. We're gonna have a one-time setup fee with a 7 day money back guarantee. Just to add some, few notes. If you are going to provide A2P services to your client, a lot of the other cohorts and classes, they're charging, somewhere between $500 to $1,000 for setup, especially if you're dealing with a customer who doesn't have any A2P setup. Because guess what? They got to set it up anyway and make sure they're compliant if they're going to text as a business to a person with the new regulations around text messages. But that is the Trojan horse that allows you to get into the business. Your conversations on sales and marketing, all of that is going to be around the idea that you are fielding phone calls. During your prospecting, the language that you should use should be relevant to the market. Okay, so you don't want to use words like missed call text back. Those are all technology terms that you and I know, but your business owners, the customers don't know what those are. So the idea of the theme conversations should remain around phone calls and how you're going to help field those phone calls. Now, if you all remember, let's do a quick pop quiz. What is the timeline between the gateway offer and the core offer? Let me see how many of y'all were actually listening. I know y'all gonna make me proud here. Let's see. What is the timeline that you have before you take the prospect from gateway offer to the core offer. And what I mean by that is you've got somebody yes to say yes to the phone call fielding system, right? Which is the missed call text back. And then we're going to schedule an onboarding. During that onboarding, by the way, prospecting all should be on the phone. No, don't waste your time on a Zoom. Your core offer and the onboarding happens on a Zoom. Just FYI. Okay, y'all are making me proud. Oh my goodness, I see the answers here. A ton of you are saying 72 hours, right? So I shared the 72-hour rule, which basically something I just created just randomly out of my, creativity. But it worked really well for all my agencies, which is if I closed a client, I don't go past 72 hours to onboard them, because if I go past that 72-hour mark, typically I have to re-enter them into a soft sale and reclose them, which I don't like. So if I close the deal, let's say on a Wednesday, like today, I don't want to put and schedule my onboarding past Friday. Like one and a half business days is usually what I look at. If they tell me, Paulson, I got to go on vacation, I got to do this and yada yada yada, cool, no problem. Let's just revisit this conversation when you come back, because there is an excitement from the sales, and I don't want to lose that excitement initially, especially, if you have the right offer. So the gateway offer gets transitioned within 72 hours of the core offer. Okay. So we're leading with missed call text back, and we have the core offer. Let's do pop quiz number 2. What are the core offers that I talked about in the last 2 days? And if you can put that in the chat, what are the core pillars that I said, hey, listen, if you can get your prospects to adopt these features, you are going to win in the SaaS game. You are going to win the subscription model, because if you just lead with one feature, they're not going to log in for just that one feature. Eventually, they're going to churn out pretty high, right? So what I want you to do is bring them in because of one feature and then park them in 4 or 5 different features that make sense for usage. Because the number one thing with the SaaS subscription model is more than revenue is usage. You want them to log in and actually use the platform. So yeah, let's see. Christina says Google My Business, web chat, reviews, reputation, and mobile app. That's right. Andy is on point. Ruben, I see Mark and Trell. Yeah, you guys are right. That's the 4 core pillars that I shared. So you're bringing people in through missed call text back. When you do the onboarding, you're simply going to say, hey, business owner, you've got phone calls happening on your website. You've got phone calls happening in places where you have to manage reputation, like reviews. You need a mobile app so you can field and see what kind of phone calls are happening. And of course, GMB, which is Google My Business, is a huge organic station for them to collect organic phone calls. So the idea and the theme of the conversations you know, stays the same, which is I'm going to be the person that helps you handle your phone calls so you don't miss any phone calls. Therefore, bringing the revenue potential back into the business without any extra additional marketing. In reality, what we're doing here is checking off the organic marketing boxes, right? For any business, if you start off with the organic marketing component, you will win the paid ads component. If you don't have the organic fundamentals built out, more than likely, if you go to paid ads, you're not going to be that successful. And some of you that are in the ads world, you probably know when there's really good organic engagement on a lot of those pages. Typically, Facebook ads, Google ads, YouTube, TikTok, all these things work a whole lot smoother when there's a lot of organic engagement. So what we're doing here is giving them a automated organic marketing in a box. That's really what we're doing, which is fielded and measured with the currency of phone calls, right? So the core offer are those 4 things: mobile app, GMB, reviews, and web chat. All those 4 items could be based on the conversation idea of phone calls. And then here's my third pop quiz. Well, Paulson, we're charging $297 setup fee. We're charging $297 for the core offer. Now, if we add them to those 4 features, are we upselling them for the extra features? Let me see how many of y'all were listening on this. Are we charging them more because we're adding the core offer on top of Missed Call Text Back? What's the right answer here? I'm looking at the Facebook page here just to see where we all are. Okay. Juan's got it right. Yeah. Juan says no, because that says no. Like Jared says no. Yeah. So the positioning of it is, hey, I've got Missed Call Text Back, this whole phone call thing. Let me get you onboarded. And during my onboarding, I'm just gonna turn on all these other things. And by the way, business owner, because we're just fielding phone calls from all areas of traffic, I'm not gonna charge you any extra, right? So then you all of a sudden landed in that business. Now you've expanded. And that's the positioning that makes sense. Because if you go down the route of charging 50 or $100 extra for each specific uh, feature that you're adding to the table, it turns into a little custom job. And you do not want custom jobs in the world of marketing. It's possibly the worst business model in the world of entrepreneurship and marketing, which is custom, right? So you want to have a repeatable, rinse and repeat model for fulfillment. And for that reason, you don't ever want to upsell that extra 4 or 5 because what you want to do is get them to use the freaking thing and not ever log out. That's the world of software. That's the world of any platform technology oriented business. We all want the users to be using the technology, right? So then the expansion offer is obviously things like Facebook ads, Google ads, whatever, yada, yada, yada. And it's up to you. If you don't offer those right now, don't go building it out. If you currently already offer it, sure, take on a couple of extra clients, but it's not worth it because we know that expansion offers have ridiculous churn, 70% churn out within the first 90 days with Facebook ads and Google ads and all of that. So the subscription model, the technology selling makes a whole lot of sense. And in case if somebody cancel from that expansion offer, you push them down into the downsell offer, which is the same exact thing as the core offer. Okay, cool. So real quick, I have 4 rules that I kind of put together to just help everybody stay in the lane on sales and marketing, which is rule number 1, single offer and expand into the core offer within 72 hours. Rule number 2, start a beta with a round of customers and prospects that are warm in your network. Okay, don't go super cold, especially when you launch this. Eventually, you can expand into other industries. You can do multiple things. But in the beginning, your launch strategy is different than your scale strategy. And I talk a lot about this during our mastermind. By the way, we have a mastermind coming up in February. I think there's like 8 tickets left. Jump into it if that's something that you want to do. And come meet all of us in person. I think there's about 120 people coming so far. Very intimate, and you learn a ton of things to launch. But rule number 3 is set a fee plus recurring pricing. And our suggested numbers are 297 plus 297 monthly recurring. Rule number 4, lean towards products versus services. So don't take technology and turn it into a service around your hours, right? You don't want to be selling hours. Look at your offer and figure out how many hours does it take for me to fulfill this? And if there's too many hours there, you're more than likely not going to scale the business. It's just too much. You have to replicate yourself, teach the culture, build up a massive team. All those things are kind of attractive in 2024 as technology has made it a whole lot easier to build, 7-figure businesses with like 2 people nowadays, with AI and really cool SaaS things. So take a look at that. So when it comes to marketing, let me go ahead and go to my slides for marketing. I just want to share a couple of points before we do a Q&A around marketing. Right, the positioning of marketing, I share this script with all of you. So let me just share this one more time as a reminder. Remember, we are putting together the first 100, right? We talked about Dream 100 being the principal concept strategy that we use to launch. And Dream 100 strategy basically says put together a list of the top Dream 100 clients and basically surround them with marketing, omnipresent channel marketing. And that's what we would do for like a, you know, um, big business marketing, right? It's very much a omni-channel thing. You want to be on the billboards in their cities, send them mail, magazines, all kinds of crazy stuff. But with the concept, I want you to just build your first 100. Basically, that says the first 100 entrepreneurs in your network that have the use of phone calls, right? Some businesses don't require high volume phone calls. For example, is e-commerce, right? E-commerce does not necessarily deal with incoming phone calls quite often. So they don't have a need for something like missed call text back. So you definitely want to switch up your Trojan horse offer and maybe do Shopify stores, right? So inside of high level, you can create e-commerce stores and maybe that's something you lead with. So your Trojan horse is going to change based on the avatar you go after. But when it comes to missed call text back, go local. You don't have to niche down, maybe test out maybe 5 or 6 different types of clients. And eventually, as you scale, when I say scale, when you get past the 25 client mark, which is not that hard to do, um, you would kind of have to decide how am I going to scale, which is why I always say your launch strategy is different than your scaling strategy. Getting to the market is different than staying in the market, right? So when you want to stay in the market and scale, you may have to pick some verticals that make sense. So go all medical, go all real estate, go all housing and home builders. Like there's some lanes that you want to pick when it comes to scaling. But in the beginning, just test out a bunch of different local businesses that could use something like this. So let's review the positioning of the marketing. So you're going to put together your first 100. So those plumbers that ever came into your house or anybody that you ever had any touch point for anything, you're going to stand on that touch point and say, hey, listen, I talked to you 6 months ago about XYZ, and you're going to position them as the expert and say, hey, listen, I want to reconnect with you because I'm launching a software company in your industry, and I just want to get feedback from something I've built out. Can we chat? And I also want to know how I can bring you referrals, right? So the way this script goes is aligned to that strategy, which is positioning them as an expert, providing some sort of referral type of relationship in exchange for feedback. And then the positioning is, hey, I'm going to go to the market for thousands of dollars, but just because we're starting out as part of the beta, I'm only going to charge you 297. And by the way, most SaaSpreneurs, a lot of the folks that are inside high level, they charge 500 to $1,000 per local business nowadays. And we know that the market share of local business, they spend about 840 or $850 a month on software technology in general. So that's the market share of expenses that you're targeting to be part of that pie of expenses. So that way it's not additional expenses for a local business. So we know they spend that money. We just want to be the company that spend it. They spend all of it on, right? So just let's review this real quick as we go into Q&A. It's going to be something like, hey, Jennifer, I wanted to reconnect with you regarding business actually and run a few things by you. I noticed that you have a good reputation in the community with your hair salon. I'm just making something up, right? When would be a good time for us to connect? I would like to understand more about how I can send people over to you and also would like to get feedback on a business launch that I'm working on in the software space with regards to the hair salon industry, right? I like for you to all be very transparent and candid that this is about software. Because if somebody calls you and tells you, hey, I have a business opportunity, what are you thinking? Like, all right, this guy's gonna sell me something. What is it, MLM? What is it like products? Like, is it, what is the intention? So I really like for y'all to be specific and say, hey, I'm launching a software company. And I just want your feedback. And I think that's worked a whole lot better for everybody inside the 5 Day Challenge Facebook group more than anything else. So take a look at this. And what we're going to do is um, ask them, hey, could we set up a quick phone call and share the progress? And guess what? Your demo is going to be a 1 minute quick demo on the phone, right? So because this is a single technology, single feature driven proposition, you can demonstrate missed call text back on the phone. You don't have to get them to jump into a crazy old, corporate slides Zoom call with their entire team there, right? That world of 45-minute, 1 hour calls while they're driving is not worth your time, right? So definitely just set up a demo number for yourself inside one of your accounts and memorize it, have it ready to go. And then whenever you talk to prospects, just have them call that number. And when they call that number, the system, obviously, you're going to miss the phone call and they're going to see some replies with voicemails, emails, text messages, however you want to set it up. And you can simply have transition conversations that says, hey, what if I set this up for you for your business? What would you like for it to say? Then all of a sudden, within like 6 minutes, 10 minutes, you did a full demo of the product so candidly, and they understand what it is. That's the one thing I like about phone calls and missed call text back. It's a strategy and tactic and technology that's very common, right? If you go into, selling something like AI is so new that the educational curve around it is still very long. Like the average, excuse me, the average business owner hears the word AI, they don't know what it means, and they don't know typically how it applies to their business. So in context with phone calls, everybody understands what a phone call is. So you don't have to teach them the technology that you're selling. You're teaching them the proposition of how to fill their problem with that technology, which is fielding it. Um, so yeah, have those transition calls set up so that way your marketing is essentially, a lot more smoother. Now, when it comes to scaling. If you have the budget for it, we have ads templates built inside the course. If you log into university.gohighlevel.com and go to the 5-day challenge course, go to the resources, you'll see Facebook ads templates and all of that that you can launch with. You want to tweak it, probably start with lead ads and then go into conversion ads. And these are things you should do on top of your organic. So if you look at some of the workshops we've done, I taught people how to do 10,000 emails a day. We taught people how to do 1,000 cold calls a day automated through AI. We taught people how to launch with paid ads. I mean, if you look at the 3-day workshops that I do, um, you're going to learn a whole lot more prospecting and cold strategies. And here's what I recommend. We launched these workshops maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and it's a lot of content. You don't need all of it, okay? Just pick one of the workshops and apply everything in it. I don't recommend you going through all workshops and trying to implement all of it. You're probably going to waste your time and look up, and it's a year gone by, and no, you haven't moved the needle, but just work on the business. And as we go into Q&A, I want to just address one more last thing. And I'm gonna look at the questions here from the Facebook page, just so you know. And maybe this is gonna come off a little harsh, a little tough, but I'm gonna be the guy that tells you the truth of entrepreneurship. It doesn't matter what you are building inside your business. Your funnels don't matter. Your email systems don't matter. None of these fancy things, your branding, logos, none of these things matter when it comes to building the business. Those are things you must have in place. But I don't a lot of times I see people hiding behind the build out. They're like, you know what, Paulson, I just want to make sure my funnels are in place. I just want to make sure my automations are in place. I just want to make sure my fulfillment is in place before I go to the market. And I think that's a mindset problem. And most of us operate from the idea that, you know what, I want to make sure I can fulfill my client and deliver what I'm promising. And the problem with that is, especially when you start out, is you will never get to delivering anything because you don't know the quality of what you can actually deliver until you actually start delivering something. And in order for you to do that, you got to do sales. And a lot of us, especially in the beginning, you're afraid of rejection. You're afraid of the no's that come from sales activities. that we find ourselves hiding behind snapshots, hiding behind funnels, hiding behind emails, hiding behind strategies, hiding behind mentors, hiding behind brands. And for some reason, we don't go to the market. You will find yourself 6 months down the line building this whole high level thing out before you actually go to the market. And I don't want you to be that business where you miss the opportunity, right? You're kind of, what's the word? How do I say this in a truthful way without being harsh? No one else can build your business but you. And the only way we can do that is by going to the market with sales. So if you got nothing out of the 5 day challenge or any of the workshops, I want you to know the only thing that matters in business is setting appointments and closing appointments. Everybody on all channels, please comment this down. Set appointments, close appointments. Set appointments, close appointments. I want to see that in all the comments everywhere. Set appointments, close appointments, because that's the only thing that matters in business. Nobody cares about the snapshots and fulfillments and all these people. The amount of people that have came up to me at events and they're like, oh man, Paulson, I love your, high level system and conversational AI and all these cool things, which I mean, I like it. I mean, we got 600 plus features for a reason. I mean, it is exciting, but I'm not your tech person at all. Like that's the technology stuff doesn't excite me. I'm more of on the business development side. I love marketing. I love the psychology of marketing. I love sales. I like building businesses. I don't really care that much about technology. As great as high level is, it could be a trap. It could be in a shiny object syndrome. And I don't want you to be that marketer that just gets excited about the technology and all the cool things we're rolling out while you're not building your book of business. So as a friend, I'm telling you, as a previous agency owner, as an entrepreneur, even today, I'm telling you, don't get stuck on the technology. Don't waste your time building months and months of stuff for potential fulfillment while you don't have clients. Okay. So set appointments, close appointments. And if you go into our Facebook group for the 5 day challenge, you'll see a ton of people getting clients and things like that. So let me get off my soapbox. It's all out of love, and I hope you're getting, some of you, I'm hitting you in your heart because I care about you. I want you to be successful in entrepreneurship. So without any further ado, I took about 45 minutes to just talk about the recap. But it is really important to understand how to be successful with high level in as you launch your business. So let's do this. Let's go through rapid fire Q&A for the marketing topic. And I'm not going to answer repeated questions. So if I see the questions, I'll just go ahead and answer it. Okay. Okay. Giovanni says, do you have any suggestions so this call we'll keep it going till another 17, 18 minutes. So rapid fire all your questions as quick as you can so I can get through as many as I possibly can. And I'm gonna try my best to be short-winded. Like my wife often tells me, Paulson, short story long is not a good idea. Long story short is better, honey. I love her to death, but she tells me how it is, and I like that. Okay, Giovanni says, do you have any suggestions or resources for our making more agreements forms when you're signing up for customers during this challenge? So with software, you don't need agreements. You need terms and conditions. And all you need to do is have terms and conditions built out. Feel free to take the terms and conditions that you see on the high level homepage, um, turn it obviously to your own branding and things like that. But I'm not a lawyer, it's not legal advice or anything, but there's a ton of terms and conditions generator out there that you can take. You don't need agreements, especially if you're not doing expansion offers. See, that's another issue with expansion offers that, it kind of throws things off, which is now I got to resell them on two offers, one low ticket, one high ticket. One has terms and conditions, the other one has agreement, right? So I don't like that sales experience either. And then for expansion offers, by the way, you want to wait like 10, 15 days after you have stabilized them in the software. But Giovanni, to your point, terms and conditions, all you need for software agreements, you do need it for, marketing services. But you can find that everywhere. You can go into LegalZoom, you can look at Google, so many different areas. If you just post in the community as well, people will shoot something out for you. Richard says, what's the URL for? Oh, by the way, let me go ahead and, oh yeah, what's the URL for the GHL University? So when you log into the app on the left-sided menu, there's a tab called University. You can click there, or just go to university.gohighlevel.com, which is a direct domain that takes you to the same place. And in case, by the way, use incognito mode if you are trying to log in and you don't see the course for whatever reason. It's usually because of browser issues, so do that. Okay. Uh, Someone says, can we also log into the Zoom? No, we're keeping the Zoom kind of closed and we're just doing the streaming just to one internet issue. Plus, I want more engagement on our platforms. So for those reasons, we're not letting people into the Zoom that I'm in. So we're going to do this kind of a webinar style moving forward. Sharon says, speaking about snapshots, should I have multiple snapshots in my account? Yeah, you will have so the way I recommend people building out their high level account is you should have like a garage account, right? Where garage where you're testing things out, doing a bunch of cool things and testing automations and we have 500-600 features. So you need a place where you're testing things. So most agencies have one sub account or location where they park and save all their templates, all their social media templates, their Facebook ads, I mean literally everything that they're building in one. And then when it comes to client fulfillment, they'll grab whatever they're built out and load it to those locations. So the 297, I mean, all of our plans except for 97 has unlimited locations, unlimited features, unlimited usage, and which is really cool. So yeah, you want to dedicate one account for all the snapshots and sales activities and all of that. Okay, cool. Phil says, can we make sub account for our sub account clients or our clients, which are white label sub account that have multiple business locations, therefore they need sub account on top manage each GMB profile. So Phil, the way I look at it is each sub account is a location for a small business owner, right? So if they have 3 locations, I typically will recommend 3 sub-account for that business. And locations are the best way to look at it, in my opinion. Okay. Ryan says, how can you use an existing phone number if a client is not open to setting up a new phone number in white labeled high level and linking it to my primary number on GMB? If they are okay with updating the number, how do you recommend handling the change it will have on NAP? So, Ryan, I think that's the biggest objection you will come across with the missed call text back offers. Like, well, I have this phone number for a long time. I don't want to make any changes. So when that happens, here's what I recommend. I want you to think about GMB and see if they will let you add a secondary number to GMB and move forward. Like, we're not married to missed call text back. You shouldn't be either. Our whole primary goal is to get them to the core offer, not the gateway offer. Gateway offer is what we're just using. And if you feel like, especially if you're international watching this, any of you that are overseas and you're not in the US, give me a 1 in the chat. For those of you that are international, you may want to use things like team calendars as a Trojan horse, reputation and reviews as a Trojan horse, SMS marketing, funnels. Another cool thing that High Level has is a social media planner that allows you to post on all platforms simultaneously and schedule it out with hundreds of content. Then also the conversational AI, the web chat. You could use multiple things even outside of SMS or phone calls, and that's what I would recommend if you feel like that objection's coming up too many times. Now, the key here, Ryan, is to not go after veteran businesses. What I mean by that is seasoned businesses, right? If you go after seasoned businesses, they're not wanting to make too many changes. So I'd like for you to go after businesses that 1 or 2 years young, like if they're brand new or they've been in business for like 2 years. Those are the ideal, perfect small businesses for something like this because they know the power of technology and they haven't done anything about it, and they don't have the means to go about it, to go spend, $100,000 to build out their technology. Like they're not that at that enterprise level. So, a managed service provider like yourself coming into the mix and setting up a low ticket offer is huge for them. Okay. Okay. Um, Steve says, is there a strategy slash script for approaching veteran businesses? There is. If you log into our 5 day challenge course, if you go under sales scripts, I have about 12 or 15 different sales scripts that I've used in different positioning. And those are all sales scripts I have from my agencies that I've built out, and they've worked quite well over the years. So you may have to take that and kind of replenish it for yourself and change the angle and offer and things like that. But the templates are there for cold emailing, cold calling, even ads. I believe it's a huge doc, Google Doc or PDF of like 12, 13 different scripts. So take a look at that, Steve. Um, okay. Gabrielle says, I finished the 5 day challenge course. Where do I start building my business? Well, you definitely want to get a 30-day trial so you can start building it inside high level. And I share the link. Ethan, if you don't mind, whenever you get a chance, um, post the link for the 5 day challenge trial offer in the comments. And that's where you want to build out your business. So yeah, if you jump into the 297 plan, you get the ability to jump into multiple locations. And let me go ahead and just share. See here. I'll go ahead and pull up that link here one more time. So those of you that want it, you have it. Okay, cool. This is the 5 day challenge link if you want to jump into a quick 30-day trial. Okay. Jack says, is there a white label demo available inside of GHL resources? Keep up the great work, Paulson. Yeah. So there are tons of people that build white label content inside of high level. So like if you get into our official community and just simply ask for white label stuff, you'll find a ton of resources. Now, here's the thing. We're development heavy as a company, right? So every single week things get outdated, right? So it's nearly impossible for us to keep up with the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of features that get rolled out. So every 3 months, you may have to update your demos and things like that, or courses and stuff like that. So just be mindful and don't get married to the content. But there are plenty of people that provide free white label content and services and stuff like that. Okay. Fola says it takes 5 days for fulfillment, I think. When does the 7 day money back guarantee start? So fulfillment actually doesn't take more than 30 minutes. Because you have the client fulfillment snapshot ready to go, all you have to do is start a location, put in their business information, turn on the snapshot, and they're pretty much ready to go. Eventually, as time goes, you're going to educate them on the core features. But to launch and get them going, the only thing you need to really fulfill in the beginning is a gateway offer. Everything else is in progress for them to get started. The 7 day money back guarantee that I've recommended is optional. It's not required. I personally don't think you should do a money back. But some people that you don't know or like or trust just yet, they may want some sort of a guarantee. And it's like I've yet to hear about a single person inside the 5 day challenge actually had to refund anything. So the 7 day money back guarantee is just an optional thing. I think it works better with services, not necessarily technology, because in technology software world, we do trials, not guarantees. I'm a big fan, but I just want to share the creative ideas so you could make your own decisions. But I've never offered a money back guarantee ever when it comes to software. But agency services, yes. Okay. Does this missed call text back work for other countries other than US? Yes, it does. So with context to SMS regulations, you may want, so our biggest provider internally inside high level is Twilio. Twilio is like, it's like the T-Mobile, Verizon, Sprint, Metro PCS or whatever. It's the carriers that you use as a software company. And Twilio is, I believe, the largest SMS provider for software technology. And unfortunately, they have a lot of regulatory compliances they have to deal with in every single country. Like the compliances in South Africa is different than, Egypt and Britain and the US. So Twilio and High Level, our compliances are based on each country. So if you're in Australia, you deal with different things using High Level in this called tech spec versus you being in the US. So, which is why I say don't get married to miscall tech spec. I like for you, especially if you're international, I like for you to take the principles of what I'm teaching and go to the market. Maybe what you do is offer WhatsApp services. Maybe it's team calendars. Get creative, but you do have SMS regulations. But yes, it does technically on paper work, but it's dependent on the regulations of each country. Okay. Cherry says, where's the best place for help with all of this? Two calls of support had open tickets and I have not heard back. So instead of going to support, I recommend you going to success, which is another team that we have, and the link for that, Cherry, is speakwith.us/success. And it's an open Zoom pod. So we do live Zoom pods 24/7. You can jump and talk to a live agent and get help there. Okay. And Ethan, he is our wonderful community manager along with Jordan. Those guys do some really cool things for us in the communities. And he says, DM me your ticket number, sharing. So yeah, DM that to him and he can escalate it for you. Eduardo. Okay. Eduardo Salazar says, do you think it's wise to have several sales approaches to a niche market as healthcare and medical marketing? That can be said in different branches, hospitals, type of different doctors, etc. Great question, Eduardo. Absolutely not. 1000%. Don't do it. And I don't know if many of you know my story when it comes to entrepreneurship, but I was in healthcare before entrepreneurship and radiology. And, I worked in big hospitals in the past, and then I went into dental feeling like if I can handle a hospital, I can handle a clinic. And I'm telling you, medical marketing is very difficult, high compliance space, very high risk. But a lot of people like doctors because they pay the bills. So when you watch a lot of these coaching programs, everybody's got a chiropractor, example, and we tend to oversaturate chiropractors. It's pretty funny. But anyways, I don't recommend you going after multiple targets inside an industry. So for example, I'm speaking to the scale strategy. Now, for your launch strategy, feel free to test out a bunch of different things. So all the way up until you have 25 customers, which is the grand mark I call the launch, versus after 25, I'm like, okay, you're out of beta, you're getting and going. You need to start thinking about lanes. So once you're past 25 customers, Eduardo, I would say pick like two lanes. One could be like aesthetic, where it's beauty related in the medical space, and the other could be medical related, like chiropractors, internal medicine, ERs, urgent cares, things like that. I like to divide up my lanes in every industry with two different extremes. One is modern, one is not so modern. So like that's just my style. So that's why I recommended that. But medical marketing is pretty difficult. But go when you're launching, go local. You don't need to niche down, but go local. Don't go into franchises and things like that because your setup for technology is a whole lot different, and you'll find yourself having to do enterprise fulfillment. So don't do that. Okay. Gabriel says, who can help me with the A2P setup so I can get started on MCTB demo? There's a couple of resources people posted inside the Facebook group, inside the private 5-day challenge Facebook group on people getting verified. And if you don't know what A2P is, it's a new regulation that came out for the US where small business owners have to register in order for them to text from a business to a person. And a lot of agencies are dealing with that as far as phone numbers are concerned to make sure they're compliant. So now I recommend you charging more for the setup fee because now you have to deal with A2P as well. But once you do a couple of times, you'll get the hang of it and it's not too hard. Okay. Okay. Um, Eduardo says, can you put all these recommendations for international in one place? Yeah, international, if you don't want to lead with missed calls or text messages, team calendars, reviews, landing pages, and mobile app. Those are the four things, and web chat as well. Those are the 4 or 5 things that I've seen a lot of international people use outside of WhatsApp services, because that's really popular as well. Okay. Okay. Mm, let's see. Can I set up a e-commerce shop under each sub account? I believe you can set up multiple e-commerce shops even within one sub account. But our e-commerce features are pretty new. We launched it maybe, and I'm speaking to Gear. Um, our e-commerce stuff is pretty new, so it's in the early stages of beta. Skateboard model, like I remind everyone. So bear if you have recommended. So one cool thing about high level, if you want technology or things that we have to be rebuilt or recoded or added, if you want us to add features to it, just let us know. Give us a couple of weeks, we'll go develop it. So we're very development heavy business. And it's all based on your feedback and it's your platform, right? Think of it as if it's your platform and we are your developers. That's why we call sometimes ourselves the first ever operating system where you can build CRMs. Okay, cool. Let's see. Any other questions that I'm seeing here that I see a few questions that I'm skipping over that are repeat questions, so I don't want to waste time answering that again. Let's see. Cool. Mark says, when a snapshot gets added to a sub account, does it overwrite what was already present? How do you manage snapshots? A golden master should be on hand for new sub accounts in specific vertical markets. Yes. Yes. So snapshots, you have to know what's inside a snapshot as you install more snapshots on top of each other, because sometimes you'll have conflicting um, actions. And you definitely want to make sure you're not conflicting, which is why I like the idea of using one sub account for all snapshots. And now when you actually use a snapshot, load it into an independent sub account. So each sub account shouldn't have more than 1 or 2 snapshots in reality when you're doing client fulfillment. Okay. Odell says, hey, I know I went long-winded on recapping. So we're past the hour. I'm going to stay on for another 10 minutes so I can answer as many questions for today's Q&A here. Okay, Odell says, Paulson, so you advised 297 setup fee and 297 per month. Would that be doubled up for the first month, or is that 297 the first month, and then second month and ongoing, it's 297. Great question, Odell Lucas. Okay, so the way I want you to position the whole thing is the very first month, they're going to have 2 line items on their invoice. One is for setup. That says 297 one time, and that's a flexible number. People charge up to $1,000 when they have to deal with HAP or many other things, right? So that's a flexible number, but I recommend you to not go any below than 297. And the reason why I recommend having a setup fee is because when you scale, you need to have a certain number put away for client acquisition. And for software client acquisition, it can get really expensive very quickly. So I don't want you to pay out of pocket to land a subscription client. So if you build in the setup fee, you will basically wash that off with your client fulfillment costs. Eventually, you'll have appointment setters and closers where you have to pay commission and all of that. So your cost of acquisition will go up. But that the way you bill it is you have 2 line items inside the invoice. One is the setup cost, the other is the first month. So the very first month they're paying like 500-600 bucks. That's right. If they cannot afford that, more than likely it's not worth your time. And that's the reality. And most local businesses could definitely afford it because we know from data that most average business spend about $800 to $1,000 on technology. Now, do they trust it and jump into it right out of the gate? Maybe not, not all the time. And but you'll see that's the type of numbers you'll see in a local space. So yeah, 2 line items. By the way, real quick, Your clients are not going to go into your landing page or websites where you have the subscription plan and self-navigate and close the deal themselves. Okay. So when you are actually doing the sales activities in your launch phase, okay, you're going to have to do the sale close. Like they're not going to go through the plan and type in their credit card information, you sending an invoice, which is all cool and dandy, then you don't want to have to follow them up. But I would close the deals over the phone or in person if I can, and then send them the invoice as if it's a receipt versus a bill. Okay, just FYI. Hopefully that gives you some ideas there. Okay. Uh, Someone's asking, would a landing page perform better than a website on a homepage in your experience? Any ideas whether it should have less or a lot content? So the landing page that we've provided in the 5-day challenge program, by the way, has 5 or 6 different features. And remember, I'm just telling you to leave with one offer, which is the missed call text back. So I want you to remove the 5 or 6 features that you're not using. I just have it there so you have different options as templates, but you need to choose one of those and go all in on that. So your landing page should only talk about phone calls and how you can field phone calls for the local business. No technology terms, right? Those of you that have a website, you need to have a funnel page for this. So that way you have a product oriented landing page that talks about the result or the benefit of the feature, not describing the feature or technology itself. Okay. And a landing page will work 1,000% better than a website. Yep. Because the websites are like a traffic light signal. They can go left, right, straightforward, or right, or backwards, like, but a funnel or a landing page will keep the traffic in a same similar homogeneous flow in order for them to convert. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Let me see what other. Someone's asking, how do I connect to other payment providers? So yeah, if you don't want to use things like Stripe, PayPal, or Authorize.net, you can bring in your own provider. We're very API friendly and open, so you can build in your own third party if you want to. Ryan says, for existing high-level users on base plan, can they also get the 30-day trial for the unlimited subs once you have your first interested customer? If you're already an existing high-level user on the base plan, maybe the 97 plan, you won't, I don't think you can jump into a second trial. But if you want to check out the platform for 30 days or something, I'm sure we can make it happen. But the features don't change between 97 or 297. It's the same exact platform. The only thing that changes for 297 is the number of locations that you can launch. I think the 97 has 1 to 3 locations, depending on what kind of promo you jumped into, and the 297 is unlimited. Okay, so but the plan doesn't change. Okay, let's see. Margaret says, I'm not sure if you already answered my question regarding the use of your phone number. If you don't want to change the existing number. Yeah, so Margaret, that's going to be the biggest objection you come across most local businesses is that they have an existing number and they don't want to change it. But because we're doing a Trojan horse strategy, we don't really care about the missed call text back that much. We're just wanting them to be able to allow us to look at other areas of the business so you can expand. So the proposition is going to be, hey, can I add another number for tracking purposes? And that's what I've seen a lot of the other challengers go through and kind of put together. So when you explain the power of tracking in marketing, they typically are open to it. And you can basically tell them, hey, for us to track online traffic, I need to put in a second number. Are you okay with me replacing your number and using a forwarded number? And so you're going to buy a new phone number and forward that with their existing line. So then out there in the market, it's the tracking number that's everywhere. And then if they say no, you could you could import their existing number to Twilio, which takes a couple of weeks and a lot of steps. You could go down that route, but it's kind of rigorous. It's kind of tough to do. But worst case scenario, let them keep their number and see if they would let you add a second number. So think about GMB, Google My Business Profile. There's a primary number. All you want to do is just add a second number. And if that's the only platform they let you change the number and nothing else, who cares? Get in the business. Change the number and turn on all the other core features with reviews, web chat, and start bringing in all that organic traffic, and then eventually you can do it. Okay, so that's the idea is for us to use the theme of phone calls to get into the business and expand. That's the way we want to do the sales approach. Okay. Okay. So it's 10:10 past the 10 minutes past the hour. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the call here. We appreciate you jumping in. Tomorrow, we'll talk a little bit more about sales if you all want me to, and talk about the 1 minute demo and some of the transitions of maybe we can demo it out together. So I'm looking forward to it. And here's the thing, jump into the 5 day challenge Facebook group, y'all. So if you jump into if you sign up for the 30-day trial, you can, or if you're already an existing high leveler, you can jump into our private Facebook group dedicated for the challenge, where you'll meet, I mean, 3 or 4 thousand high levelers that are starting out. And like I told all of you, I want you to think of high level as a place of truth, a place, a safe place for entrepreneurs to really gather, where we can collaborate. And I love that about the high level family. Almost everybody uh, that's inside the community, they're all very collaborative. A lot of other communities in the world of marketing, it's a competitive landscape. Everybody's trying to one up each other. But in high level, I'm very proud to tell you, if you just reach out to somebody that's already inside the high level world, they'll probably jump in and help you with things. And I love that about our culture. And it's very, very, it's a new energy that we've seen in the marketplace. But, anyways, have a good rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow, 12 o'clock EST. That's New York time for those of you that are international. And we'll talk about sales a little bit more tomorrow. And just FYI, I taught all 5 days worth of content on Monday. Go through Monday's content. I layered out all 5 days, including client fulfillment and sales. In the YouTube channel, I believe there's replays, or jump into our Facebook group specifically for the 5 day challenge. I think there's 3 or 4 thousand people there already. Jump into it, collaborate, create a post, tell us where you're checking in from, and you'll also see a lot of wins, by the way. If you go into it, don't feel bad if you're seeing a bunch of people just crushing it. Just do your own journey, and there's plenty of people to help you. And I'm excited for just meeting some of you in person. I know a lot of you signed up for the mastermind that's happening. By the way, the team just messaged me. There's only like 6 mastermind tickets left. Mastermind is in Dallas, Texas, February 8th, I believe, that week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Uh, those dates. Looking forward to meeting some of you in person. But, anyways, see you. Have a good day, rest of your afternoon, good night, wherever you're checking in from. Those of you that are international, thanks for staying up so late and giving me the privilege and honor to serve into your business. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of the results. And a lot of you are going to crush it in 2024, and I'm glad to be part of it. So I'll see you tomorrow, 12 o'clock EST. We'll talk about sales and then do a Q&A around that and help you launch your business. Okay, take care. Bye, everybody.